So what do you think is the most popular printer currently, and why do you think that is?
I think we've seen some really interesting printers over the last few years, and certainly for me, the BCN 3D Sigma has been a really interesting printer. The dual extrusion, dual independent extruders, probably are pushing it more into the desktop market and giving it more capabilities than most other printers that are out there. So that's the one I'm favouring at the moment as a very interesting machine.
Okay. What do you think is the biggest innovation in 3D printing this year?
I have to say probably on the industrial side it's going to be the HP multi-jet fusion, which has been talked about for some time, and that's fantastic. I've heard a lot more information about it over the last few days and I'm really excited about it. On the desktop side, I think probably we're finally getting to a place where we've actually got decent support structures that work with machines, and actually you can start printing machines, parts that are more complicated on the desktop. So that's had a long time coming and it's been promised for a long time, but now we're actually getting there.
Can you give us an insight of, or a teaser of what's to come from you personally in the next year?
Okay, well, yeah, this year's been really exciting for me. I've been doing a lot of work on development, so material mixing of different composites of hard and soft materials. Not so much on the color, but that could easily be more. But yeah, I'm really excited about the idea of mixing materials to get different densities in single parts, single 3D prints. And that's something that we'll need for certain objects in the future, so yeah.
Good. Obviously, you use 3D printers at home. What do you usually print with them?
Yeah, a lot actually, all sorts of things. For fun, lots of things around the holidays, so I get the family involved. We're just gearing up to Halloween, so my kids are absolutely adoring Halloween and printing off all sorts of things and designing themselves now. They're very young, but they're getting involved in the 3D printing process, so yeah.
What tools do you use?
Well, Tinkercad and SketchUp have been the two that I've been teaching my kids. Personally, I'm learning Fusion 360 at the moment and have been doing various other open source tools, but Fusion 360 is quite a nice one to get involved with, so yeah.
3D printing enables you to print almost anything you can imagine, sure. But what's the most noteworthy thing you've ever seen?
I think noteworthy, probably it has to be some of the medical applications that are coming through. Even at the show today, there's a 3D printer just around the corner that's printing in silicon gels, and that's actually an amazing technology to be able to print soft silicon materials that are virtually the same as molded materials. They come out very strong. The medical applications for that, and it's basically very similar to FDM type technology, so it's very accessible, not going to be too expensive, and going to be groundbreaking for that sort of thing. So yeah, definitely.
Okay. Do you have a final tip for someone who is new to 3D printing? Is there one tip you could share with our readers?
I think have a reason for 3D printing. Definitely, for me, that's probably the biggest question I have to reply to. When people ask me what 3D printer to buy, I don't try to tell them what 3D printer to buy, but I always have to ask them why they want it, and if they just want it, what is it they want to do. So try and have a reason, if it's for a hobby or for even just experimenting with the technology. But the reason why we went through that hype cycle of 3D printing and consumer technology is because no one really knew why they needed it, why they wanted it, and why it was great to have one. So have a reason, yeah.